who are the artists you're currently recording with?
Well, spongecola is a frequent collaborator.
I write a lot.
So yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit later
Yeah.
on. So
Let's talk about other acts.
Yeah, other acts.
than
yeah, so
Sponge
it's not just a spongecola studio.
Today is the day we made it to the Spotify office in Singapore. What?
Yeah.
So, as the Singaporeans say, Can, Bole, we are here. Welcome to Case Drama, the exclusive episode here. Spotify podcasts in Singapore. Here on the stage. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm getting goosebumps. And because I'm a Balbon woman, it's a lot of goosebumps.
Oh, nga.
Goosies. Oh, thank you for being here. Of course, Yael has no choice. This is Yael Yuzon, my husband. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times.
Hi guys.
He's from this band, Spongecola.
There's always a choice. I don't have to be here. I mean, I want
You want to be here. Thank you so
There's a
much.
difference.
Yeah, I love that you're here with your gold and gray hair. And of course, we've got
Oh, it's new.
It is,
it's
right?
freshly
yeah,
colored.
it's like Olympic style. And of course, for the first time on the podcast, we've got Joey Santos.
Hey everybody. Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
Kay. Hi Yael.
I love how, you have like a nose ring and that giant earring. And then when you say hi, it's like, hello.
Hey, everybody.
It would be a surprise to people. So Joey is a dear, dear friend of ours, and he just moved to Singapore. The whole big intro is a long one because Joey does a lot of things. In relation to us, the number one thing would be that you are a music producer.
That's right.
So you've produced a bunch of my songs. You are producing a bunch of my songs. You have a studio that has a great name. It's called Love One Another.
Yeah.
So that already says a lot about you. Love One Another Studio. Like, thank you for reminding us of that. And I think that's what music does. No? You used to do a lot of house parties in that studio area.
Right. It started in high school, and my friends and I were thinking of something to do on a weekend. So sabi namin, gawa tayo ng party. Yun na yun.
Ganyan na yan. So,
Yun na yun. And
when-
that's when I started DJing. So sabi ko,
Yes.
I can also DJ for the party.
correct. So aside from being a music producer, you are a DJ. We are going to your
That's right.
gig today in Clarkie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please come.
Hey!
Hey.
Okay, so we're not done with the intros. You are also the singer of the band Halik ni Gringo.
That's right. Halik
Yeah.
ni Gringo, a band from 2005 who's played a total of 5 shows since the start of the pandemic.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
pretty
we
good, huh?
we
Yeah,
need
pretty
more.
good.
We need
We need
more.
more.
But
We
of
need more.
course, that being said, you are on Spotify. Check out their music.
Mhm.
What song should they start with?
It really depends on what kind of person you are. If you are more of like, you're a homemaker and whether you're male or female or any gender in between, whatever you identify as, I would suggest listening to our non-hit track. It's called The After After Party. So this is something that I think would appeal to all sorts of people, regardless of your occupation or aspirations for the future. If you have no hope for the planet, for example, if you are more into like the dystopian side of things, you could also listen to NASA, I Have a Problem. So it's not about Elon Musk. I don't like him as a person, but he's really smart. Yeah.
Oh, strong statement. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So, okay, still in the intro because, nowadays we do a lot of things. Aside from all these things, you are also a music educator.
That's right. So I teach DJing and how to make music using your computer. I started doing this 10 years ago when I was still
Wow.
with another company called Digital DJ Tips. So they're based out in the UK and they teach DJing. So how to DJ with software, how to DJ with like a DJ controller, not necessarily vinyl. So yeah, I started from there, started making tutorials, started writing the news articles for the site. and then moved on to making courses. So how you make
Got
music
it.
with like Ableton Live or software similar to that, and also how to make stuff without necessarily having a music background, which I think is very important because everyone should be able to make music if they want to.
Correct. And you never know, like maybe the day comes then you're so inspired you don't know what to do. So might as well find the tools, and that's you. You are the teacher. On TikTok you are
At DJ Joey Santos on TikTok as a personal, but I'm also known as Kuya DJ because I don't know, people started calling me that because of the way I teach. Parang Kuya daw. So it's like, oh, sige,
Kuya
Kuya DJ na
DJ,
lang.
so the nickname stuck.
Yeah.
So personally though, what connects me most like with you would be your ability to rise above the pandemic. And we were all stuck at home, etc. And I think you quickly shifted and adjusted and created the studio to become something like a safe space for musicians to create music during the pandemic. Wouldn't you say, Yael?
Yes, exactly. There was an alcohol bath prior to entering before.
Wow.
Like in the end credits of like the X-Men animated series.
That's right. You did. You get
Yeah.
sprayed.
Yeah, so to make sure that everyone's safe.
Yeah.
And then we would do like tests every so often just to make
Correct.
sure. And yeah, so yeah, it was it was a safe space.
Yeah, so thanks for making that happen. Otherwise, we would have been stuck at home,
Doing
staring
nothing.
at each other, going nuts. So yeah, I love how you quickly adjusted and the love remained and love one another
Yeah.
somehow.
Thanks. It was I wouldn't say it was like a gradual transition into being able to do something like that at the start of the pandemic. It was more of like it was me and my mom talking about it.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay.
like, yeah, I used to live with my parents at the time. And then the
Is
studio
this
is
your
based in the
mom?
house.
Like she's like a famous woman. Would we
She's
like to talk
No,
about her a
she's-
little?
Yeah, she's not famous, but like she makes really good food. So her restaurant is called Mom and Tina's Bakery
Oh my
Cafe.
God, she's my
Yeah.
friend, and we danced together at your wedding. I
Yeah,
was like
she's at
a
the
proud
wedding.
moment of mine. We
Thank-
were in the
yeah.
mosh pit, like yeah.
I've never seen her dance, so that was the first time. So thank you, Kate,
Nice.
for dragging
Power
her
of invitation.
into the dance floor. But yeah, so we got to talking and we were like, yeah, if we're gonna have guests, we have to make it very safe for them. So yeah, the bath was just there. All of these protocols were in place. The I don't know, protective gear and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we're kind of paranoid like that. But at the same time, I just wanted to provide a space where people can come and do their thing and not have to think about what was happening in the outside world.
Correct. Not that we want to reminisce about COVID, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that some people are quick to adjust. And I think life is about being flexible. So thanks for being that because you
You're
did have
welcome.
the resources to do it.
Thank you for coming too.
Diba?
hard.
We were there for each other in a big way, and we would do Facebook Lives. And SpongeCola hit a few numbers that made it to the Billboard charts.
Yeah, I think we were number one for like streaming in the world at a certain point. I forgot about that. So yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I'm getting goosebumps because because my dad passed away. I have been like appreciating how people show up for you, and I would say this about Sponge Cola because at one point I was like, oh, Chris Martin is showing up for me because he would do Facebook, like I think Instagram lives, but you showing up for people at a time that it's like you're homesick, I don't know, you're too many overthinking, like you too many thoughts in your head about this and that. You don't know, especially for people who were far away. I think you showed up in a big way
Yeah.
for a lot of seamen.
Yeah, they were stuck at at
Stuck
a certain
at
point.
sea.
Stuck at sea. Or
With a
docked,
big question mark.
Yeah, but or
Yeah.
docked but unable to like you can't
Return
disembark.
home,
Yeah, you have to
correct.
stay there. So they would watch us.
And then you would see the
Online.
cases rise in said areas because they're in a bubble that's
Mm.
not exactly safe.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to all.
And then the production
seamen.
value at a certain point, we added like lights, and it sounded great, of course, because it's a studio.
And you would keep
So-
improving the studio
Yeah.
and the whole experience. And we
Yeah.
made it interactive. I think we would see like comments.
Yeah, I think the best one was the Halloween one. It was we
Right,
were in costume and we had like purple lights.
We had 2 Halloweens, right?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I love the touch of your studio where you also give us like souvenirs of like black and white photos.
Yeah.
Well, is that like
It was
a
a
natural
time.
thing also for you to do photography?
No, I think I just had like extra film rolls at the time. So busin ko na lang sa banda.
Yeah.
Kasi I can't. I've taken so many photos of my family over the pandemic.
Yeah,
Kasawa.
so I just mentioned that because bonding over music and like maybe the what in my head was the end of the world was actually like a quick way to get really close and get invited to your wedding.
Yes, thank you
I
for
was so
coming.
kilig to be invited.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny, like how. Well, it's not funny, but it's strange how stuff that happens in life just really brings you closer to a lot of people who are like in the periphery of who you are, like as a person, because we're all kind of from like.
Same
We're not
circle.
we're not in the same circles,
I
but
know, I
like
never
our
got
circles
invited
are
to your
in
house
the periphery
parties.
of like those
like
circles.
the logo of the Olympics.
Yeah, parang ganyan. So everyone's just like adjacent to each other, and then
Yeah.
something happens that changes the world, and then suddenly you find yourself amongst other people,
Yeah.
and then you guys just kind of hit it off.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
vibe with each other, and then you make
Yeah.
stuff. And I think that's like my most important takeaway from like the whole pandemic era. Well, like we lost so much at the time, but at the same time we also created a lot of things.
If you're
Right.
ready to create. And I was
Yeah.
part of this group called Bayanihan Musikahan, which was led by our national artist for music,
Yeah.
our ninang sa kasal, Ryan Kayabyab. And one of the women who was part of the group, her name's Marian, and she says, creatives will find a way out of the pandemic because creatives know how to search the mind and the situation to find new solutions, new paths, a new way of living. And that's where we are now. And we're out of it and we're here in Singapore. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's always a better outcome if you're ready for it and if you really actively search within your community to find new connections and new friends and I don't know, new solutions. So here we are.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is just really taking a risk. I think about like creativity as having like a lot of parallels to entrepreneurship.
Uh-huh.
Kasi I don't know, when you make a business, wala, ang dami talagang risk.
Yep.
Money, time, relationships. So many
Definitely.
things.
Friendship overs.
So many
Yeah.
things. Kaya like I'm always like in awe of anybody who puts up a business, whether it's a tiny one-person business, solopreneur, or if you employ like 5 or 10 or even like, I don't know, 100, 500 people. It's always very difficult. I've always said that running a business is like the most difficult thing I've done in my entire life. But I keep doing it because I just can't not do it.
Uh-huh.
I feel being in a band is an
Yeah.
entrepreneurial venture if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which started in high school, like for me, if you think about it. So yeah,
So
it's an early investment.
underage labor.
Yeah, underage. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you just recently moved here
Yeah.
to this tiny red dot, which has a lot of new spaces pala because parang on the way here, I saw a lot of reclaimed area. But what was the move to Singapore like? And how are you able to still create music in your studio in Manila?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that last question first. It's because my wife has been very lenient and kind. She's allowed me to take some of my studio equipment.
Yael is not okay with allowing a spouse because what is your word? No, because
Yeah, because I always correct Kay.
yeah, it's like
Kay-
Yael.
sometimes
Thank you
Kay would
for
be like, "Thank you for allowing
teasing,
me
I'm
to-"
teasing also.
Yeah. Kay would be like, "Thank you for allowing me to do anything."
To travel by
yeah.
myself, for example.
And I'm like, "Why? I'm not allowing you. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm gonna support you."
Yeah, no, my
Right.
my my wife is the same. Hi, Oti. My wife is the
Hi,
same,
Ati.
but like when it comes to studio stuff and music stuff, because they're actual things, and she hates clutter, and she doesn't like
okay.
stuff just being placed like around our home.
Yeah.
I really have to thank her kasi pumayag siya. So like I've taken like the most important bits from the studio in Manila,
Okay.
brought them over here to Singapore 2 or 3 trips. So I have like a functioning studio now where we live.
Oh, we could record.
You could actually record there, but at the same time, the studio in Manila still works as it should.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've got sound engineer Mr. Angie Razul there.
Yeah, my idol.
Yeah,
And
he's cool.
yeah.
I
all the
love you.
stuff
He's
we
legend.
kind of grew up listening to
Yeah.
from the OPM era of the
Correct.
90s passed to him. And yeah, it's just great to have him on board.
Imagine he's worked with me. He's worked with Kay. He's worked with Kay's mom.
Right.
So
I love
wow.
Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grabe talaga.
So Angie works in the studio. You work remotely from
That's
here.
right. Yeah.
So
Amazing.
so Angie records the files, and then after the session sends the files to Joey.
Mm-hmm.
So it crosses over to Singapore from Manila. It's
So
pretty
it
cool.
works. I mean, and sometimes you do go there. So a little later on, we'll do a live demo of what producing is like.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of loves in music, and I think one aspect that is quite interesting because we are in the Spotify office and we did see like a bunch of artists on the wall. Who are the artists you're currently recording with?
Well, spongecola is a frequent collaborator.
I write a lot.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
writes a lot
sometimes
of
he
songs,
dreams.
so-
And then,
yeah, I
Yeah.
dream in music. So
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll probably talk about that a little bit
Later.
later
Yeah.
on. So
Let's talk about other acts.
Yeah, other acts.
than
yeah, so
Sponge
it's not just a spongecola studio.
So aside from this band, the
Aside from-
noisiest band, Sponge Cola,
Oh,
with
we
the
are?
pinakamadaldal na
noisy, that
singer.
kind of
Yeah.
noisy. Okay.
Mark Abaya and Kwan
Oh.
are in the studio. So they're working on new stuff. So their approach to making music is kind of similar to Yael, except that Mark and Isok, their new guitar player,
Okay.
they do the demos together and then they come into the studio and then they kind of flesh it out there as a band. So that's a little bit different. So what I tell them is like, you guys can come anytime you want and then just work it out.
Oh, okay.
Because they're new, I guess it's a new lineup, so they kind of have to gel still.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started last year, I was just telling them, just come into the studio, take as much time as you want, get the music out, shape it however which way you want, and then when you're ready,
That's
we'll
when you record.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some bands take longer to work, and yeah, everyone just works differently, and that's what I've learned. I don't know. I've been doing this for like 24 years now, a little bit longer than that, I think. Everyone just works differently.
Everyone has their own
It's-
process, their own
yeah.
arte.
Yeah.
Lights on,
Yeah.
lights like kind of moody,
Yeah.
barefoot. What other
Yeah,
cute
I
things
don't
could
think
you
I've-
share about
I
artists?
haven't recorded anybody barefoot.
It's kind of weird though. No, I'm normally I wear shoes for recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
We encourage people to wear shoes.
And clothes.
Yeah, and clothes, preferably.
And there's a carpet naman so it's not gonna make noise if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
if you
that's
wear
right.
shoes. I think.
But aside from that, what interests me talaga is the Facebook lives.
Mm-mm.
Did you ever think that music would have that? All these like live performances in your laptop. But at least now, diba, we're back to the live scene. But back then, what do you think was the best part about that?
I think the best part about having those Facebook lives during the
And
pandemic
TikTok lives.
and TikTok
Yeah.
lives and like every
IG
other
live,
live,
yeah.
every other
the
live,
live feature.
was that after the pandemic, the technology needed to make those things. They kind of carried over to today, and that's why I'm able to do like all this remote production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because before that,
So it was like a crash course that we had to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
you had no choice. Like if
Correct.
you wanted to do it, you had to figure it out, and that's kind of what we did. Thank you, Spongecola and Yael, for being very patient,
Oh.
and Karylle for also being so okay about it. But yeah, it takes a while. When you're trying out new stuff, especially if technology's in the mix, you really have to be okay with making like a lot of mistakes. You gotta go through a lot of iterations to get to the point where it sounds decent.
Right.
It doesn't even sound good at that point. It's just like passable. And then that's when you get good after
Yeah.
that. So there's always this baseline whenever technology is involved that, you just got to keep doing it. You got to put in the reps. You got to do it over and over and over again. And then you're like, okay, ito na yung pinaka-okay natin.
Galing.
And then, dun mo papagandahin. So it's always a step-by-step building process. And it never ends.
Correct. I like that you actually intended to make it go higher because some people will be like, that's it then. Pwede na yan, diba? Which is like one of our sakits or like sicknesses as a people. Pwede na yan. And I guess pwede na yan, as you're saying, is just the baseline. And then we will get better.
Yeah.
So that's just one very smart way to look at it. It's not overwhelming. it accepts the flaws and your limitations at the time, but also shows your willingness to venture into the unknown. I mean, as diba, parang venture into the unknown, pero you're talking about Facebook Live. Parang, does it really sound like a daunting task? To some, they would never even attempt it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be okay lang with just making mistakes and putting out
The acceptance
sometimes putting
of
out
the
work na hindi
mistakes.
okay. Kasi
Tama.
wala, may times na ganun eh.
Yeah.
So it's
Sometimes showing up, you have to show up kasi
And you
tapos
can't
just have
beat
to do it.
yourself up
Tapos
for it
sometimes,
forever.
yeah.
If you make mistakes.
Yeah, you have to be okay with yourself not being good if you want to get good at some point.
Right.
Yun. So,
You have to
wala,
accept that there are
ganun
gonna
eh.
be bad days, basically.
Especially in the beginning, diba?
It's kind of like learning a new language. Na
Ah.
if you really want to learn how to speak something, if you want to speak Bahasa, I worked in Jakarta for a while in my previous company. So when I was there, I was practicing. Bahasa sounds similar to
Filipino,
Tagalog
yeah.
or Filipino. So parang may konting words naman na parehas, especially the pronunciation. But you make a lot of mistakes sometimes. Like
Barok, diba? You're
Oo,
barok,
or
yeah.
like I called the driver beautiful. Yung mga ganun. So minsan awkward siya.
Cute mistake.
Could have been
Pero-
like a beautiful
pero okay
driver.
lang.
Menu.
Pero okay lang. So, wala, you have to be okay with that. I think that's like the biggest lesson. If you learn a new language, you have to be okay with with making mistakes and
Ganon
looking like
niya,
a fool.
El.
Yeah.
Ganon siya.
That's how I do it also. Why?
No, for
Why
the
say that?
longest, it looks like you're giving us the finger.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. I'm not. I'm just
It's an
like
audio
We're not
podcast.
that- we're
It's
not
an
that
audio
kind.
podcast.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's in-app video.
Oh yeah. It was. I was just using it as like a wedge. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna fix the way my. Oh, yan. Is this better? Okay. There.
Yeah. So no. For the longest time, Yael was stuck not wanting to learn other languages. But lo and behold, you guys just released a song in actual Korean, and that was in your studio with you
Yeah.
and our other collaborator, which is Ryan Bang, the songwriter.
Yeah, he helped. Ryan Bang really helped with the diction, and he had clever ways of saying I wasn't doing a good job.
But
So it was funny. It was like stand-up comedy.
It's fun. Oh, honestly, Ryan Bang has been offering to translate every song by every artist he calls his best friend.
Wow.
He likes to connect with people.
It's a short list. It's basically Rocksteady, Itchy Rims, and
No,
Spongecola.
anyone is Ryan's best friend. Hi, Ryan. He was on the podcast as well. But
I thought we were special.
oh, sorry, you didn't know that. Okay. So you're the only one who took him up on his offer.
But that's because I'm super into
Ryan Bang.
Ryan Bang and
K-pop.
to K-dramas,
No, sorry,
really.
K-drama
Yeah.
soundtracks.
Yeah.
K-pop, you are great at DJing that, but I have a hard time just keeping up.
Yeah.
And I cannot pronounce Korean words that fast. So, ang galing nung ginawa mo from being afraid to learn a new language to actually recording it at your studio. You gave him some tips to pronounce the words,
Actually,
no?
it was Ryan who was giving the tips.
Yeah, but like
you,
at a
you
certain
said
point,
something kasi that
Yeah.
really fixed his mindset.
when we got stuck,
I don't remember.
you told
ano
me
ba yan?
to not focus on the consonants, to focus more on the vowels. Because
Ooh,
yeah, because
gumaganon
it's
sila.
like because you're like because I was focusing on the consonants as a Filipino,
Uh-uh.
like on like let's say it's like if the word is Spotify, I kept changing the way I would say sp and tify, and then you're like I think it's the O that's like the problem, so it's the of the Spotify.
Mhm.
So that's where I started. Oh, so it's like I'm altering the middle vowels.
Hindi, alam ko na. Kasi
Ay.
kakagaling ng naming Korea nun.
Yeah,
talaga?
yeah, for their
For like
honeymoon.
Si
some
Charo?
honeymoon.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
So, na-notice ko lang yun na everybody talk that way. So parang,
Galing
syempre,
naman.
hearing it like not as a language but as sound, it was like, oh, there are a lot of vowels and like
Yeah.
there's an emphasis on the vowels. So yun,
Yeah.
ko lang na parang you should be
Cool.
emphasizing the
The
vowels, I
vowels,
guess.
not the consonants. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know anything about Korean, but it sounded
You
like that to
know,
me.
as the
So,
producer, that was his turning point where he was able to actually relax and
Yeah.
get it right.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, because at first I was nailing the song, I guess, but it sounded a bit
Barok.
aggro. I think it just it's
What's
yeah.
that?
There's a hostility to the way I was pronouncing
Ah.
things, so it didn't sound like I was singing a love song.
Got it.
So at a certain point, the vowels were fixed. So that's when it became
vowels were
softer, and
Yeah.
I think the word would be malumanay.
Ano naman eh.
We needed to be malumanay with that.
Since we're
Yeah.
talking about you as a producer, a lot of the listeners don't know what a producer does. And, I bring friends over because I want people to meet you guys because you have given me such valuable insight in my life. So I want you, just in case they want to one day produce a song, and we are seeing this because now my family told me, oh, we want to make a Christmas song because our last name is Tatlong Hari. So let's do that project. So I think this bit could be the little crash course into understanding what a music producer
Yeah,
does.
because most people think a producer is an executive producer. So they think it's like a guy in a limousine that will give you a
Yung
record
napanood
deal
nila
and then
dati.
fund the endeavor, basically. Like Mr. Sharp from Sharp Records from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Like that kind of character. But
In the limousine na nakasuit. Got it. So, yeah, take us through that journey. I was telling them kanina, take us through the flow chart. And Yael was like, what's a flow chart?
I really had no idea what the flowchart was. It's just that it's built in na for me.
Parang
So,
the start of the journey is like usually like a shape. It's a circle, a square,
Yeah.
or a triangle. And then you go through the necessary steps to get to the end, which is the product,
Yeah.
which is a song. Which now we have discovered is not the end because today, as the producer of Spongecola, I'm asking him to buggy to help him with content to promote the new music.
Yes. So we can divide it into three phases, I
Okay,
guess. We can
okay,
talk
let's
about-
go.
I wish I had a limo and like lots of money to finance all of this
I'm your
music.
limo
But
driver.
like
I'm your limo driver.
yeah, never in my life. But yeah, the production process. So ano ba?
normally, I'll message you, hey, I have a song.
Okay, take us through that.
Magandang example siguro would be Tatlong Buwan. I think
Okay.
would be a good example. The song I wrote
Or,
about Queen of Tears. Because
What
I
if
wrote
we
it.
do it now?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, wait. So I can just use this.
Create a song.
Do I use the mic? This mic? I can just project it. Wait, like an on the spot song live
Yeah, because
right now?
we can't use an existing
Oh,
song.
so I can just do on the spot.
You can do on a spot and give us the tutorial. Do you want me to hold your mic?
Okay lang. Basically, a producer used to be, as Yael said, a producer used to be the person who would either bankroll the entire thing
Uh-huh.
or they would shop around and look for somebody who would pay for it and then bankroll the entire thing. But I think after the Beatles, the producer played a more musical role. So George Martin was the fifth Beatle, they would call him, because he would add in like the string arrangements, and Eleanor Rigby, he would tell John Lennon not to do this thing or to do this better. Parang ganyan. And there are like way more producers who are like that, Phil Spector and all these other people. So fast forward to 2024, a producer kind of wears like a lot of different hats. So apart from helping out with the music, they also make suggestions to how the music should sound, what to cut, what to include, how it should come out. Sometimes they'll even say, the mix should be like this. There should be like a video. There should be content for it. Ganyan. Iba-iba na.
Yeah, parang nag-expand rin
Yeah,
siya.
and that only happened over the last, I don't know, 5-7 years. But like, it's always moving faster. And yeah, it's always changing basically. So we can
try to
try
do
it out.
Yeah, sometimes dream songs like his latest release with Spongecola. I mean, Spongecola's latest release,
It came to
Tatlong
me,
Buwan.
yeah. And then the song Isang Tugon came to me in a dream.
Okay.
So I basically woke up and just studied what was in the dream already. So it was like a gift.
Right.
So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I didn't really have to think so much.
Yeah, so you dreamt about it. You made the demo. I was still sleeping. In my dream, I could hear the song, which is you in the sala.
Yeah.
And I saw Neshti, who used Puso in her last Olympics when she won silver medal.
Yeah.
Two other people, and that was a music video.
And in my dream, it was Neshti asking me, yo, where's my song? And there's like a punching bag. We were in a blue room with like red floors and blue walls and like a bench. And I had a guitar there and a laptop.
Okay.
And I was working on it. I'm like, I'm working on it. So what's it? Ano tunog niyan? It's gonna sound like this. Like makaskas na gitara para it has like it has energy, but it's pent up energy.
And
from
these are the
training.
voice notes that Joey has to deal with.
Yeah.
At what time?
It depends.
Minsan, like wee hours of the morning,
Oo.
Yael will
Yeah, for
send
tatlong
him
buwan, I sent it at 2:08 a.m. And then
with
I
a
think,
long kwento, which of course you
Long
have
kwento,
to
yeah.
hear.
Yeah. It's always a voice note. It's never like an actual written message. It's a
Yeah.
voice note. Pero yeah, Yael works that way. Other bands don't.
Okay.
They'll just be like, okay, here's a demo. Tapos yan na yun.
yeah.
Si Yael is
Corny.
more like, oh, here's the demo, and then may mahabang chika.
Then, tsaka I'm also very collaborative eh. So like, parang I don't
Yung
want to dictate.
context can't be lost. He needs you to
Yeah,
know
needs you to know
the
it.
Yeah.
backstory and the backstory of the backstory.
Yeah.
Yes.
May one time yung parang, so naghuhugas ako ng pinggan. And then ganito.
Yeah, yeah.
Parating ganun.
And you can hear running water in the background.
Which I
Yeah.
think is great because it also helps me have an idea of what he wants in his life at
Yeah.
that precise moment.
Yeah.
So-
Parang everything that inspired me.
Galing.
Yeah.
Oo.
So your connection has to be tight because otherwise you'd be like, I don't need to hear this. I don't want to. You're wasting my time,
Yeah.
basically.
I have to be, no, it's not that I'm being patient with Yael. It's more like I understand that people are like that. So when they choose to work with me, I have to accept that they're a certain way. And
Right.
Yael is that kind of way. Mark Abaya is a different kind of person.
Uh-huh.
Chris Cantada, a former bandmate of Yael, is a different kind of person.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just
That's so cool,
all
no? Ang galing. Yeah, so the tightness and the wavelength, it has to somehow meet
Yeah, but when you
somewhere.
send a voice note, you already feel it. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to read into anything. It's not like, because if you get the message, it's written. It's like poetry. It's like, okay,
Correct.
you must be there for, you analyze.
Uh-huh.
But like, if you hear a voice note, you can hear running water. Or I can be sending it like, if it sounds like this, I'm probably about to sleep. And I'm sending this to you and it's late. And Kay's probably next to me, so I have to be quiet. So that's why, like, for example, like Tatlong Buwan, when I sent the voice note for that, the recorded demo, it was sung, we'd play it in G live, but the demo was in D, which is like so far. Because you were sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up. So I had to sing it in D. So, pasensya na. Instead of live, pasensya na. So it's really far. And then, yeah. So these things change.
So even the mga key adjustments, is that you, Joey?
it's between me and the band.
Yeah.
So there's like a
usually-
meeting before the actual recording.
Yeah, sometimes like he'll come up with a demo and then you get to the studio and we'll be like, sige,
Wait,
play it.
you get to the studio, you get a cup of coffee, like freshly
and
brewed.
banana bread.
Banana
From
bread.
Mom and Tina's.
Aw, hello.
yeah.
And it's
Thank
warm,
you for
eh.
all the
It's warm.
the yummy what do you got? Baked goods.
And we
Yeah.
usually arrive at 2 p.m., which is like perfect if you're doing intermittent fasting because you can already have your banana bread at 2 p.m.
Not just the banana bread. Sometimes there's like a whole bunch of other things.
We try, there's like cinnamon muffins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And-
it's basically bread
Cool.
items.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love it. So
I
that's,
realized
I
that's
think
what they
that's
like.
part
They like the bread
also.
stuff.
Oh, so you also know
hospitality.
what the band likes.
Yeah, some bands don't like bread. They prefer sweet stuff.
Well, if you look at all my bandmates, it looks like we like bread.
Ma-bread sila. So yun yung binababa natin.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of your process. That's
Yeah, it
just
is,
that
yeah.
homey
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's
warm
in a
feel.
house. Yeah, the studio's in a house, so I try to make it feel like it's still part of a home.
And there's a lot of
Cool.
wood in this house and like pine trees, so it looks like you're
Yeah,
in
the
British
vibe
Columbia.
is vibing.
It's a
Yeah.
Baguio vibe. It's a mountainous vibe. There's also
Right.
like a walk. That's
I
like
mean,
a steep walk.
Cozy Cove is also doing a lot of production work,
Yeah,
and they
they're
have
really
the
great. Like,
performance.
Shadi is
Hi.
like he's an amazing producer.
Right.
I
So
think.
similarly, you do have your own
You know, Cozy
studio.
Cove and Love One Another could be cousins.
Correct.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could be. There's like
Yeah,
a
they
vibe.
are. Yeah,
I get
And
it.
I think what I'm trying to say is that I love how music is on the rise like that. Production companies or production houses or
Yeah.
studios are just doing a great job. And I think that's super props to you because you've created the space. I mean, at a time that nobody knew where to go to make music, and then you've built on it.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's nobody will ever tell you that running a studio will make you rich. It's like the worst business model ever.
Yeah, I
can
think,
I
yeah.
just say because
Yeah.
like you don't need a studio to make music anymore. You can do it on your phone. You don't need like expensive microphones to record a vocal. We're
Yeah.
doing it right now.
Sorry.
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
could,
yeah.
you could hold that
I can
for
just
him.
hold it.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So, wala talaga eh. Ba't ka gagawa ng studio?
At ba't mo gagandahan? At bakit
Ba't
mo
mo gaganda?
aalagaan?
Yeah, so it's more like you're doing it because you want to contribute to the culture of the music that you are in.
That's the big
Uh,
picture.
It's
Yeah.
more of a calling than anything.
We're in OPM and like yung OPM kailangan niya mag-evolve and you know there needs to be new people making it. There are a lot of great production companies. You know, we talked about Sina Shadi and what he's doing in Baguio,
Yeah.
which is amazing. There are a lot of other production companies in Cebu. There's a scene in Davao.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah. So these are
We Are
creative
Underdog
spaces.
Is
yeah.
another one. So it's really great stuff coming out from Morissette, I think, and their crew. So I'd like to see more of that, and just like a lot more diversity when it comes to the music styles. There's a lot of P-pop on the rise, which is amazing. A lot of hip hop too. So please, more.
Yeah.
I think okay yan.
Yes.
Yeah, there's music coming from everywhere and people they're just creating nonstop. And I think it's a great time. I mean, thanks to Spotify for making it super accessible for everyone. And kids are just so experimental. They're so curious. I love all their questions. I mean, if you are listening to this and you need a part two, send us all your questions that you're curious about when it comes to creating music and I guess also maintaining a business because you know, all these things will fail if there is no money that at least maintains your monthly overhead, which exists, right? So,
Yeah, no, you speaking of experimental, I saw this artist on Rappler. Parang ano yung Yael Loker?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. I don't know the name. Can you just
It's
look
like-
for it na lang for the podcast notes? But like it's super good. It's like folksy music sung by a person. Tapos may art siya na illustration style na animals sila.
Yeah.
It's like
so
they're
he's
like bunnies.
he's projecting
Yeah,
it as he's
Bunnies
performing.
siya eh, parang
Yeah,
ganun.
yeah.
I don't know, just look for it. Yael Loker.
It looked like
parang
a
ganun.
looked like a puppet of some
It's
kind.
like a storybook.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And like they're super big, like 600 million followers or something like that. Sobrang tas na-shock ako kasi hindi ko alam na may ganun pala.
Yeah.
Diba?
That's the thing with music. There's so much out there and it's just hard when you can't keep up and you're stuck just listening to that one song I have on repeat, for example.
And the best thing is like this person is just he or she is in Manila. Tapos mag-isa lang siya. Tapos global yung audience niya. Tapos parang I think pre-Spotify or pre-internet it would be so hard to do.
Right.
But now with you know all of these like DSPs or DSPs like music platform, it's possible to do that. Diba?
Digital streaming platform, is that what it is? DSP. Yeah.
Sorry,
Because we've
Spotify's
been
a
learning
DSP.
a lot of terms here in Singapore. So we do need to make like a cheat sheet for everybody who can't keep up.
Sorry.
So were you able to search the name? Sorry, it's
It's a Yael Loker. YAELOKRE.
You posted it on Facebook,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Sobrang
Yeah.
galing na shock lang ako.
Ang galing
Parang
na.
DLSU student yata siya or something.
There you go.
Bata lang. Tapos sobrang ganda ng music. Tsaka ang ganda ng visuals. There's like a whole concept behind the whole thing.
it's in Yael, Yael.
Yeah, may H yata eh.
Yael Loker.
May H, diba? I think may H.
YAE. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look her. Okay.
Diba? Meron, diba? Yeah, that's the one.
There you go.
Okay.
So there's a song, I think it's called Happy Hair or something like that. Kasi rabbit siya. Basta,
Wow.
there's like a whole aesthetic to it. Tas cottagecore. Basta.
So what you're saying is that even if you're so immersed in music and you're always like on the lookout for
There's still
new
something
acts.
new.
Yeah.
There's always something new. Is it? Yeah.
Something new that can
Is
just
it
pop
yellow?
in.
Yael Loker. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this, but like it's called Yeah, the
Storytelling
song is called Harpy
project.
Hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a storybook. Tapos tutugtog siya live. Basta magaling.
Granting voice to the stories of Meadowlark. How amazing is that?
Basta
So it has its own
like
lore.
this cottagecore thing.
So it
na-
has its own
Yeah.
lore and everything.
It's so
Galing.
cool.
So actually, we do learn a lot of trends from Joey because we have to keep up with just the growing world of music.
That's why you also have to share it. When you hear
Correct.
about these things, you have to tell your friends about it. I think it also makes sense to do that, kind of
Yeah.
pass it along.
Yeah.
So wait, we
Yeah,
have to do the
eloquer.
demo
Yeah. Okay, now let's
of
do
your
the
flow
production
chart
demo.
of. So
Okay,
you're like, hi Joey.
So I'll be like, all right, so but it has to be like a fresh on the spot song.
Right. You woke up from a dream.
Yeah, so I guess I'll be like
Brum.
um Friday, I'm writing someday. This ends up close to you, right here. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, so I can send that to Joey, and then he'll be like,
As a voice note.
yeah, and then he could adjust the key. He could, what if it's in 6/8 instead of 4/4? So it'll be like, Friday. So is that better?
Yeah, I can also say stuff like it kind of sounds like jeepney. So
Yeah, because it's
palitan
already
natin yun.
D and G.
So
Same-
palitan natin
same
yung chords.
chords,
So I could be Friday. Oh, this is
Yeah, now
very.
it sounds like Gemini.
It sounds like Gemini.
Alam mo
Because
yan.
it's in 6/8.
Oo.
So yeah,
So-
so these are things these are conversations that you need
Correct,
to like
correct.
when you're especially for an artist with like 20 years of experience.
So maalam siya
Yeah.
sa inyong catalog. You know it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to be if you're working with someone, you have to know where they're coming from.
Mhm.
And Yael's coming from like a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Because I
why
listen to ano eh.
that's why
Yeah.
the music doth overflow from him.
I listen to everything from musical theater to the Backstreet Boys, to Smashing
Oh,
Pumpkins, to
yeah.
OPM, to so parang
And,
kung saan
and finally, he's listening to new music.
and I don't follow kasi rules eh. Parang it doesn't have to be maangas because I'm in a band. I have to be maangas. Or I have to listen to things with distortion because I'm in a band. I don't even know what accent that is.
Okay.
But like parang I'm just open to everything. Because I
Okay.
like hearing passion eh. That's what it is eh.
So
So,
wait,
yeah.
just to go back to the flow chart.
Flowchart.
It is the back and forth of those conversations, and he will try something new to revise it
Yeah.
if ever it feels like a little maybe dated or something you've already done.
Yeah. Usually it's never because it kind of sounds like it's old or it sounds like you've done this before. It's always like whenever there's an idea, especially at the demo stage, it's
Mhm.
important to tell the artist that, okay, it's a demo. Right?
Yeah.
Of course it's gonna sound like something they've done before. The idea for making the demo is to get the idea out first.
Okay.
And then part of the production process is then arranging the demo into something that may or may not sound like something they've done before.
Okay.
Diba? So, kunyari, with this song that Yael made on the spot, like 30 seconds ago, he uses a guitar. So I can just tell Yael, instead of using a guitar, let's use a synth, for example. Or like, let's change the bass line. Or, imbes na acoustic only to, lagyan natin ng drums. Para iba naman.
Friday.
I like how he did all the
Oo.
instruments.
So he
What about
does
the bass
he does
line?
it a lot.
Hi, gosh.
Ba't ang likot? Yung mapapagalitan yung bassist mo pag ganun kalikot.
You also do that, no? If anyone overplays, do you
Yeah.
say?
But you know what? In SpongeCola naman, no one really overplays. We don't overplay. We just over-record.
I'm not saying
we
SpongeCola in
payload
particular, but do
Yeah,
you
there
say
are bands.
that?
Yeah. I'm
That's
I don't
part of
think-
your job. Ba?
Yeah, I don't think I'm a minimalist. I'm really not. But like, I try not to have too many things going on at the same time. So part
May
of the
traffic. May trafficking
I guess
ba?
part of the production job is just telling people na, alam mo, magaganda lahat ng ideas nyo, pero we have to pick the best ones. So,
Maraming
yun.
pwede. Hindi lahat
Curation,
dapat.
Oo.
edit.
Tapos, wala. I'm not emotionally invested in the songs because I didn't
Yun.
make them. So I can
But
just
how
be a
do
little
you
bit more
help them say
objective.
goodbye to this brilliant idea that they've dreamt about or whatever?
You have to be kind.
Yeah.
At saka ano
you have
rin
to
eh.
say it in a nice way.
Well, for me kasi it's easy because I'm a Spurs fan. So I like sharing the ball. So I know that I'm not gonna dictate anything. I'm gonna just kind of bring the ball down and see where the play goes. I'm not that kind. I'm not like a Kobe type. I'm more of a Tim Duncan type.
Well, I guess that's
So-
where the teamwork comes
Yeah.
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there are artists na
ayaw nilang palitan yung
Yeah.
yung idea
Some
nila.
people are very adamant with like a melody that they parang I'm gonna live and I'm gonna die on this hill kind of
that's the
attitude.
hill they want to die on.
Yeah.
And for me, that's okay. Like if it's a non-negotiable, okay lang. Kasi
Right.
Yeah.
kanta mo naman yan eh. Like it's not my song, and I always say that it's never my song. Like I'm just here facilitating everything. It sounds like such a clinical term, but that's kind of what you're doing. You're just trying to get the best from these guys.
Ako as an artist kasi I look at Joey as like an architect of a house. Parang kasi I'm gonna end up living kasi as a house eh. So parang of course I'm gonna have to like, you know, I'm gonna want to live there. So it has to be our house, but he's gonna design it. So it has to have like it can't have a door leading to nothing. I mean, why would we do that unless we're trying to be artsy about it? But that's like super impractical. So yeah, parang, and then like, what's the vibe gonna be? What's it gonna be from a living standpoint, also from a visual standpoint? If this house is gonna be viewed by people, do you want it to look like a weird house, or do you want it to be like
Right.
featured in magazines? So, yun. So that's part of being a producer. It's really like architecture of it.
I have a question. So you're an architect. Do you have a peg? So peg is a Filipino term, I feel like
A reference.
a reference.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if
hates
Joey
this.
if Joey noticed this, but normally when people start talking pegs, I start kind of checking out.
Right.
I check
because
out
you
of
like
the-
to bake from scratch, right?
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
but for some people, it's easier when there's a peg because it's like it cuts to the chase. Eh.
I don't even think that is a word
peg.
that exists
for
in other
tents.
countries.
Oh, okay. Sorry for
Yeah.
tents.
Yeah. I think they just call it the reference.
The reference.
Yeah.
Or a type. In
Yeah.
hip hop, it's a type beat. I don't think it's harmful to have a
Uh-huh.
reference.
Yeah.
It can help. What I have issue with references sometimes is like, alam mo yun, if it's just supposed to sound like this and nothing but the reference, edi gamitin mo na lang yung reference. Hanap ka ng stock music.
Yeah,
na
yeah, exactly.
instrumental, tas lagyan mo ng boses.
How do you say that to
But-
someone you're producing?
Well, because like they can save a lot of money if they do it that way. Just huwag ka namang
because there are
pag-grab.
actually stock.
Yeah, may stock naman eh. Like
that
if you
you
want to sound
could
like
purchase,
Like
no?
like for
You could.
tatlong buwan, I asked for a sonar sound because I wanted the sonar snare.
What's
I
a
wanted
sonar snare?
I like that sound because it's super dramatic, but it's like mysterious. It's like. Right now, my face is weird when I do it, but
it's like a sonar ping. Yun yung gusto niya na
Uh-huh.
sonar.
yeah.
Tapos he asked me like for that same thing, like for 3 other songs.
Yeah.
Na hindi ko binigay. So I'm like, sige na nga. Let's.
Yeah, because I like
do it
that
this
sonar snare ever since.
Uh-huh.
Tsaka I always ask for the kick drum from Anthem of Our Dying Day, the sub drop, the boom. They use it for Marvel movies when there's like a fight scene
Cool.
for explosions. Yeah, they use that. So I like using that underneath the track. Plus, this one time Joey asked me, "Is there a lot of rain in Queen of Tears?" That's right. There's some rain. There's a part where she's crying and then she steps out of an umbrella because she hears something bad, and then Joey adds rain to the track. So there's actual
The
rain.
sound.
So if you listen to Tatlong Buwan, there's rain in the
Tunay
song.
na ulan.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's real rain.
So-
You could record rain. That's
So
like in
there
a
are
movie.
those little touches that make the story, go forward.
Yeah, to amplify the feeling.
So aside from all these things, all these elements, the production process, I guess in the flow chart you've recorded. What is next? You will mix it.
Yeah, so they've recorded their parts. That's the editing comes next. So that's when we kind
Oh,
of
because you have to sift through all the takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
How long does that take?
It takes a lot longer than the recording.
Yeah. And I usually
Um,
step away because I'm done with my part. So I have to let
Yes.
Joey do his
And
art
Yeah.
thing.
You have a term for that when you overthink it, especially for the artist.
For
What
us,
do you call
it's
it?
finished or not finished. Pass your papers.
Yeah.
And yung tinatanong kita, ano yung mas maganda, ito or ito? You'll be like, nasa crazy stage ka na.
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking crazy pills.
Uh-uh.
That's from Zoolander. That's Mogatu getting mad at Zoolander.
Mhm.
Yeah. Usually, like, you can take a nap and then when you wake up, it's
Ah.
okay.
We-
Ah,
I call that
good
common
tip.
sense of the morning.
Mhm.
Oo. Tulog ka, tapos pagising mo, kinabukasan.
So mas mahaba
Yeah,
yun
period,
kesa sa recording process, but you do that solo.
Yeah, so I do the editing on my own because it takes so much time. With them, it really doesn't kasi it's more of just like fixing little mistakes. But like there are some bands na yung style of music nila kailangan sobrang perfect ng timing. The tuning has to be super perfect and on
The
point.
metro.
Yeah, so it really depends on the act and the production style.
Yeah.
That's when you do a lot more editing. Pero for them, it's like it's a moderate amount of editing. lang
And
naman.
then once in a while, like for tatlong buwan, you go back to the studio and redo a part because you weren't happy with your
No,
first line.
I didn't like my first line in Korean because it sounded like I was in a bar fight.
Masyadong matigas.
Yeah, I was like miyan hada. I'm like,
Which
whoa,
means?
what's up, bro? I'm sorry, basically.
sorry.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
So-
miyanewa.
So I want to say miyan
Miyane.
hada. Yeah, so I had to punch that in because I sounded like I was punching someone in.
Okay, so there's the editing. That is
Yeah.
the first step of the mixing process.
Yeah, so
and then you
before
mix.
mixing, yeah. So you
So
edit
there's a
everything
rough
and then you
mix.
mix. Yeah.
So
rough
a rough
mix is
mix.
just levels.
Yeah.
So everything just can be heard and then
And then
send
you
it to the
send that
band.
to the artist,
Mm-mm.
and then they listen to it, and then pretty much give an okay signal, like
Yeah.
approval.
But I normally give an okay signal because I'm
Okay.
collaborative like that. I'm not a dictator.
Okay, so after that, so that's a back and forth.
Yeah.
What's next?
After the editing, that's when you start mixing. So you have all of the elements in there. Nothing needs to be fixed. Everything's in place now.
Mhm.
So you mix them so everything can be heard. So the ones that should be loud are loud. The ones that shouldn't be loud are just
Mhm.
there.
Like Yael's
Yun
guitar
yun.
playing. Kidding!
No, actually, it was all me for
Ikaw
guitar.
yun,
Yeah, for
oh.
tatlong buwan, it's all
Tatlong
me
buwan,
playing guitar.
yeah.
Armo did not play guitar there. I also
Nuts.
played some keyboards.
May
Wow.
piano
And you
pa
used it.
dun.
Oh, show them
Gamit
your
yun.
pinky
I
finger.
still have my pinky nail from Queen of Tears
What
episode
episode?
14.
Oh my gosh, look at him.
Right after the operation, and she's like, "Why am I feeling this heartache?"
And
I
these
don't
are the
remember.
stories you have to listen to. Ask the producer.
Yeah. I don't know about his nails.
Oh,
It's
really?
the first time
Yeah.
like I've heard it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They're kind of long.
Oh yeah, this is
Siya.
from episode 14 of Queen of Tears.
So when he goes to the
hospital
nail
scene.
place that we go to, they already have it prepared for
They
him.
it's just, I
And
just
it's
pick
only
a shade of
kalahati.
yeah. I just have to pick a shade of orange. Which one shall it be? The browner one or the brighter one? Depends on the
Oh
mood.
gosh, so cute. So
I showed this to Kim Ji Won. She was like, "Oh, you have it," but without the saying that, "Oh, you have it."
got it.
She was like, "Ah."
So that's where his fanboyness has taken him. And it's cute. I mean, you guys created it together with the band. So I love that. Okay, so you've mixed, you've mastered, you released the song through your label, which is Sony Music, and then poof, it's on Spotify.
I don't actually know the part where Sony Music talks to Joey. I don't. Is there a part?
Parang wala naman.
Wala
Like,
naman,
we just send
Billing.
it. Send it
Did
to
we want to do the
Billing na lang.
billing in the
Billing na
flow
lang.
chart? Oh, yeah.
collections.
Okay,
Flow
so
chart.
billing, nagbayad na kayo.
Okay.
In-appear na siya ng manager niya, si Saul, Better Call Saul, and then
Yeah.
And then it's probably Cholo or Roslyn who
Yeah.
talks to
and
you.
then
Okay.
you
Cholo.
give it to the
It's
mga
Cholo who does
radio
it.
stations.
Yeah.
Ano pa rin, yes. Radio plays it still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I hear
And
it. I hear
then
it.
now that you're in Singapore, would you say you would need to help him with his content? Which is what I said to him. I think Joey can help you because he's your producer.
Yeah.
Does that still apply?
Yeah, so that's like an extra service that you can do if you're friends with
Your hands.
Art.
and if they put you on the spot
If they
and
put you on the
ask
spot.
you,
It's
Yeah.
it's funny
On
how
a
you use
podcast.
it. It's just funny when you use the term extra service. It's still like
Ooh.
extra service.
it sounds funny.
Yeah. Pero sige, yeah, kasi masipag naman yung band.
Mm-mm.
They're okay to make their own content, but sometimes like if they need other ideas for stuff, that's when you can come in and help them out as the producer.
This
yeah.
is really something that you do. I mean, not the on-the-spot version of it.
Yeah, no,
talaga?
yeah.
Because you just want the music to be out there and to
Yeah.
succeed and get
Yeah,
into
I think-
everyone's ears.
He can do a remix. He has like the stems for it. So
Correct.
You can also
Yeah.
remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you want like your song to get even more visibility, because I think it's kind of easy to make music at home and to put it out on your own. So much so that there's just so much music being put out. I think I forget the statistic, but there's like 10,000 songs being put out.
every single day.
Is it every single day? I forgot. I'm
Makes
sure
sense.
it's
We
way
have to
more now.
ask Phil.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of like humans making music and AI making music, and it's in contention.
Yeah.
Different DSPs will tell you differently. Different companies will tell you differently. Pero if you really want to get more visibility on a song, you really have to make content, and that is just like making a video.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a long one. Can be short form. It can be the band talking about the video, doing something funny with the music in the background. Ganun. Kasi ganun na ngayon.
Right.
And there are a lot of musicians who don't want to do it. And I always tell them, okay lang naman kung
Is it
ayaw mong
because they're
gawin.
like purists?
No,
Or
it's
what is
because
it?
like sometimes like you don't grow up with the technology, so you're not okay with using it, or you're a bit hesitant, which is fine. If you don't want to use it, it's totally okay.
Some people also just have hang-ups.
Oh,
It's like they don't want to
It's like
feel that
it
they're
goes back
promoting.
to what you said earlier. Na it's okay to make mistakes in the beginning.
yeah. Pero kasi the reality is what is happening right now. A lot of music is being used in conjunction with something visual. So if you want to give your song the best chance of being heard and seen, I would say make it part of a little video that you're making. Again, short form is the best because it gets
Yeah.
pushed out. Yun.
All
That's
right.
that's just the reality. I think.
Gosh. Well, I guess that's all the time we have. And I think we've covered everything basically. But
Oh, but Joey has to do that thing where you say positive things.
it's not exactly.
Ano
I
yung
guess it's like a
positive?
life
It's a
lesson
it's
that
a
you.
case drama thing.
Yeah.
case
What is your
drama
drama
thing?
in life there?
What-
It's just a way for people to take something home with them.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. So
parang
like a
baon mo sa
takeaway.
kanila na what are the important things you've learned? I mean, you've actually shared a bunch of them
lot, yeah.
already.
Mm.
But what is the one thing you would want to impart to the world?
Yeah. I think the most important thing I've learned over the last 5 years is to just be open to like a lot of different things. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're not gonna be comfortable with. You have an option of not doing those things naman eh. Pero for me, I've always just thought of saying yes more than no.
Mhm.
And it's cost me a lot in the past. Pero
Ah.
at the same time, the good things that happen are always, not always, but they tend to be really, really good.
Mhm.
So
So
taking a
parang
chance, I guess.
worth
yeah.
the risk.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it should be a calculated risk, but just be open to it. Again, you don't have to say yes, but think about it at the very least and consider.
Give it a chance.
Give it a
yeah.
chance, yeah. I think that's like my key takeaway, my key tapaw.
Tapaw. Yeah,
Tapaw.
As it
tapaw is
were.
ano.
Take away.
As it were.
Baon, yeah.
Ah.
Oh
That's okay.
gosh, it's nice to just hang out with you here in Singapore because we did hang out for a bit on our last trip and it was bitin and
We
you met.
prayed.
Oh, it was Holy Week and we
It was Holy
prayed.
Week and we prayed.
Yeah,
We watched-
Ziki
yeah, we watched
led the
the-
prayers.
We watched that Netflix show about Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That was a cute hangout. And, this is our next hangout. It was very official here at the Spotify office. So, once again, thank you to Spotify for making this day possible.
Thank you, Spotify.
Yeah. And they will be going outside to create their content, to promote their music. Yael, would you like to promote your new music?
We have 2 singles out, so we have a double.
Wow.
We have the Korean version of Tatlong Buwan, and we also have Isang Tugon, which is a song I wrote for the Olympics. So
Congratulations to all the athletes.
all the athletes,
And the
salamat.
coaches and their teams.
And lagi ko sinasabi to like for athletes, it's really the preparation. There's like yung actual fight, that's just like 5% of what you see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's 100% of what most people see. But it's really 5% of the journey. Like 95% is like commitment. It's like deciding to keep going. It's like falling and getting up. All these things, injuries, getting sick, working through a pandemic. Kasi kami, musicians kami. Tapos survive kami ng pandemic. Sila rin, athletes. May mga ibang sports na bawal paano kayo magkikita? Social
Ay, yung
distancing
mga
na.
nagva-volleyball nga pala and then they would train with a wall.
Yeah. And
Kasi
then,
you
tsaka
can't see your-
plyometrics lang,
yeah,
which is
'cause you
improve
can't
your
see your
jump skills,
teammates.
all that, because that's all you could do. So, yun, parang, yun eh.
Oh, did you want to do your own message? Or is this it?
Kasi actually, yun naman yun eh. Athletes and artists kasi it's like the same boat.
Ah.
Tapos, a lot of people focus on the awards and the glamour part, pero actually, so much of it is really the journey and everything in between. So, yeah.
Well, just to share a little something about Isang Tugon. Yael kasi loves to do sports anthems. And I don't know if it was intentional. Like, I'm going to make a sports anthem. But Neshti Petesho, when she won the silver, she used Puso as her entrance song. I wanted to
Yeah.
say entrance hymn. But So ever since then, we've like maintained contact and we just like chat once in a while. And I kept bugging Yael. I was like, Yael, send it na kasi malapit na yung laban. And you know, you're
I actually
connected
sent
through
her
music.
I sent her pala the demo. I mean, not the demo, the rough mix. Kasi we did,
Yeah.
her match was coming up na eh. So I was
Yeah.
like, para umabot sa'yo. I mean, marinig mo man lang yung song before ng laban. So.
Kasi yung una kong video na kinunan, Yael was in boxer. So sabi niya parang...
Boxer briefs.
So sabi ni Neshti, parang, so may baboxingin daw ba siya kasi nga naka-boxers. But we did send Neshti the song and
Yeah.
she sent us back a video, a reaction video of herself listening to it.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty touching.
she was, you know, just really intense. And I was like, yeah, she's a winner talaga. You can
Yeah.
really see it in the eyes.
Yeah.
And that to me is so inspiring to have somebody like that in our circle, which I don't even know how that happens, but through music.
Yeah.
We
Yun yun
love
eh.
one another. We make all these connections. So yeah, how amazing is that?
Yun talaga yun. There's a link talaga. Music and sports. Yun yun eh.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is because it's not about the end product. It's about the journey.
And I think her journey continues because she's not done.
Yeah.
She will continue fighting. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get to hang with her and all the people you actually make this music for. So thank you for finding ways against all odds to make music with artists, with me that I have to still, oh my God, we still have to do more music, Joey. We haven't recorded the song that you actually co-wrote with me
Yeah.
like
How
2
long
years
was
ago.
it? 2
Yeah,
years
but
ago.
I have the demo already. So
It's been 2 years?
I just, yeah, it was a demo for, it was supposed to be for a TV show. Actually, the sexy scene of a TV show.
You know what?
So-
Finished or not finished, you should pass your papers.
I know, I need a workshop, but yeah. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing
of
all your
course.
business know-how and just all those secrets. But I think the biggest secret is your connection as friends. We do call Joey the Joey. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you,
I don't
Joey
know
the
why,
Joey.
but
I
yeah.
don't know.
I think it's like a reference to Friends because it's Joey.
Yeah, that's the accent of the
Estelle.
agent, Estelle, the agent of
So
Joey Tribbiani.
Joey, but you're not Joey from Friends. So you're Joey
The
the
Joey.
Joey. So thank you so much for watching Joey the Joey +1. Spongecola
Thanks, guys.
-3.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for being our first guests here in our Spotify Singapore special Spotify podcast, everybody. Case drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is it beating your heart?
Yeah.